Welcome to AI Machine Learning Workshop, the tutorial before your tutorial, part 9, brought to you by Blackmagic AI. So if you want to check us out, go to blackmagicai.com, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our email list, or subscribe to this YouTube channel. All right, so as you recall, this video tutorial series is divided into two parts, part A and part B. And in part A, we covered the theory and concepts in AI and machine learning. And then in part B, we apply the theory and concepts from part A to actual coding example project. In this part B video, we will begin to apply all the concepts we have covered to deploy and serve a trained, exclusive, or machine learning model that we created in the last video. All right, so as a recap of what we did in part 8 video, the previous video, we followed the machine learning workflow and developed a trained neural network model to approximate the exclusive OR logic function. Then we used the Google Collaboratory Notebook tool as a platform to work on the machine learning workflow. Google Collaboratory is a useful tool for machine learning workflows because it is browser-based and it is pre-configured with Python, TensorFlow, Keras, and other tools we needed to develop and train our neural network model. Now, we followed 7 major steps in the machine learning workflow. That consisted of first preparing our data from the exclusive OR truth table, and this acted as the training and test data for the model using Python NumPy library functions to represent the data set as NumPy arrays and the pandas data frames using the pandas Python library. Then next, we went on to feature extraction, where we extracted the relevant data from our data set that would be used to train our neural network model. So our exclusive OR problem was not very complex, and in our case, the data set and features were the same and consisted of only the exclusive OR truth table. Now, larger data sets may require more analysis to determine the relevant features that can be used to train and test the model. Then we built our neural network model using the Keras sequential component. Now, the sequential component had an add function that allowed us to define the neural network architectural layers and specify the type of layers, the number of neurons in each layer, the loss function optimizers, and the activation functions we wanted to use in our design. After defining and building our model with the sequential component compile function, we trained it to find the weights that give the correct outputs for the exclusive OR function. Now, we trained it using the sequential fit function, and as parameters, we passed in the input and output training data as pandas data frames to the fit function, in addition to specifying the number of epochs and training batch size. After this, we had a completed neural network model with the correct weights to approximate the exclusive OR logic function. Our completed model consisted of the neural network architecture design and weight values that gave the correct output for the given set of inputs. Then we evaluated our trained model to determine if it had converged to a solution with the required accuracy and performance. Once we were satisfied with our trained model, we used it to solve problems by feeding it input data from our data set and getting an output solution from the model in the form of inferences or predictions. Now, the final step, which we will cover in this video tutorial, is to deploy and serve the completed model, which is the process of deploying a machine learning solution to expose it for use to make inferences, predictions by multiple clients. These various clients include access from web clients in the cloud online, embedded in software applications such as a mobile phone app or another machine learning model. Now let's talk about our introduction to Google Vertex AI. So now that we have our completed model that we created and trained in the previous video, our next step is to deploy and serve our model so that it's accessible to be used by various clients. We will deploy our model as a REST service endpoint, which will be available on the web using HTTP requests to our endpoint. We will use Google Vertex AI service to deploy and create our input, but before we can do that, we need to create and configure a Google project and enable Vertex AI within our project. Creating a Google project and enabling Vertex AI is the subject of this video. Now, what is Google Vertex AI? Google Vertex AI is Google's end-to-end machine learning workflow development cloud service. So Google Vertex AI can be used for all aspects of the machine learning workflow development in one integrated seamless service from AI model development to training to prediction and to serving. So we will be using this deployment and serving component of Vertex AI, although we could have developed our whole machine learning model workflow using the Vertex cloud service. Now we will be using the serving service in this tutorial to serve the trained model we created in the previous tutorial. To use Vertex AI, we have a couple setup steps we have to do. So create a Google Cloud Platform project with billing enabled. Now for this step, you will need a Gmail account. Once we do that, we will enable the Vertex AI API within our project that we created. So as a preview of what we're going to do next, we're going to create a Google Cloud Platform project with billing enabled. So billing enabled means that some of the services you will use in the Google Cloud Platform incur charges. So you need to enter a credit card or some type of information so Google can bill you for these services. It will be like a minimal cost, no more than $1 or so for this project if you remove it after completing this tutorial video. If you want to leave it running for some time, you will incur additional charges as you keep the project enabled. So the first step we have to do is go to this URL, console.cloud.google.com. What this will do is this will take us to the Google Cloud Platform dashboard, and from there we can create our project, enable Vertex AI. So that's the central point for starting all our Google Cloud Platform functions. All right, so let's do that now. So I've opened a new browser tab and I've entered in the URL console.cloud.google.com. So once I enter that, that will take us to our Google Cloud Platform dashboard. Once again, you need a Gmail account in order to access this dashboard. So I already have my Gmail account and I'm already logged in. When I type in the URL and hit enter, so I log in, it takes me to my Google Cloud Platform dashboard. As you can see, I already have some projects in my account that I created previously. But if this is your first time using the Google Cloud Platform, your list will be empty. First thing we want to do to create a project is go to the select a project drop down. And like I said, I already have projects, so they're all listed here. So what we want to do is click the new project option to start creating our new project. A cloud platform project, think of that as the root project that's going to bundle all the resources you use in a project. For example, if you want to use databases, or if you want to use some kind of cloud storage or Vertex AI, all those things will be bundled under this common project. So that's useful for billing. So all the services you have will be billed under this one project. Or if you create other projects, they'll have separate billing. It also allows you to delete the resources under one project when you delete a project. First thing we want to do is name our project. So I'm going to name it AI ML9 XOR, or exclusive OR project, and I'm going to accept the location default, so I won't enter anything for that. And then I will click create, and that will create our project. So give it a minute to create your project. Our project is created as mentioned in the notification bar. So if we wanted to go to our project, we can go to select project in the notifications, but we'll just close that for now. So now we are on our newly created project dashboard, and a couple things to note is the project info panel. So the project info panel, we have the project name, project ID, and project number. So remember where these items are located because we'll need them for future reference. Now that we have our project created, I mentioned that we also have to enable billing. To enable billing, we can go to the little hamburger menu in the upper left corner, select that, and then we'll get a left navigation panel menu. And then as you can see, there's a billing option. So let's go to the billing option. Okay, and this brings us to our billing panel. One thing you'll have to do is create a billing account. Now I already have one created, but just to show you how you would go to that, you would go to manage billing accounts, and then you would create an account. So when you do that, make sure you have your credit card ready to enter. That way you can use the Google Cloud Platform services that require billing enabled. So then if I go back, if I go to my billing account, I've selected my previously created my billing account 1, and I'm going to enable that for this project. So that's the one I selected for this project. So let's go back to home. But once you create your billing account, then you have to select it and apply it and enable it for this project. Go back to, and then now the new project appears in the selected project list. So I'll select that, and that brings us back to our dashboard. Now the next thing we want to do is enable Vertex AI. To do that, once again, we go to our hamburger menu in the upper left. We select it, and then we're going to have to scroll down to the artificial intelligence category. So that's kind of towards the bottom, so we'll just keep scrolling. As you can see, we have other options and things like that. Now we have the artificial intelligence category, and we have Vertex AI. So we'll select that, click the dashboard, and that brings us to the Vertex AI dashboard. Now, in order to enable it, we just select Enable Vertex AI API. So if you don't see this button, that means you don't have billing enabled correctly. So you have to go back to the previous step and perform that to enable billing. So I'm going to select the button, and it's going to take a while to enable that. Now that button's gone, we can see that we have Vertex AI enabled for our new project we created. One thing to note on the left navigation panel, these are all the different workflow features you can use in Vertex AI. For example, we can upload our data set, we can work on our features, we can train our model, we can build our model, but we're going to be using, like I said, the endpoints feature of Vertex AI. But if we wanted to develop our whole exclusive OR model within Vertex AI, we can do that, and we would do that from this panel. But like I said, we're going to use endpoints, so we're going to create a HTTP REST service endpoint. So all we have to do is send HTTP request to this endpoint with our input data, and we'll get the outputs in the response. So that's all for this video. So in the next video, we'll show how to export our machine learning exclusive OR model from our Google Collaboratory Notebook, and then upload it to Vertex AI, and then create the endpoint. So then we can start serving our machine learning model from the cloud. That concludes part 9 of AI Machine Learning Workshop, the tutorial before your tutorial. So go to blackmagicai.com, like us on Facebook, sign up on our emailing list, and you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel, and you'll be notified when additional videos in this series are posted. Thank you for watching.